was sore, guys. How's everyone doing? We have task to do today, guys. We've had just a brutal stretch of heat, and I like to think I'm as productive as the next person, but in heat, it's not healthy. I am looking long term here, and if I gotta sit out a day or two and avoid unhealthy heat, I'll do it. What we have going on, I have some cleaning up to do around the machine. I have a basket of offcuts I'm going to be taking down to the woodshed. This is that panel that I had cut out to help me get into it. I'll have to figure out something to do with this. This could be like a nice tomato trellis or something, huh? I am officially in worry mode. My log supplies are, I'm just not getting logs, guys. The disruption to the timber industry, at least around here, is I'm starting to feel it. I'm running low on logs. My machine is eating through them pretty quick. It just seems, last year we had the price of lumber just going through the roof, so all these logs quit getting into firewood. The mills were taking smaller and smaller logs. This year it's the price of fuel, and everyone's panic buying, and I think a lot of residential people are buying these logs off of the loggers, and they're paying a lot more for these logs than I would pay for them, because I'm trying to make a profit here. But the bottom line is I am starting to worry, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be a complete disaster. I remember last year I was worrying, and the next thing I know I had 7 truckloads of logs delivered in one day. The other thing I have to do, guys, I need to adjust my table. I think what happens is when the log is being run in, sometimes it'll hit this pretty hard and it makes the table shift this way. And I've noticed that it has creeped away from my infeed, and I need to bring it this way. And it's also turned it a little cockeyed too. The other challenge is where the perfect spot, the sweet spot for this table to sit, is right on a seam of these timbers, and I would like to get it off of that because it makes the table sit a little bit lower on this side. Not a lot, but enough to where I notice it. So I'm going to try, and while I have the forks on my tractor, we're going to pick this up and try to pull it this way. And then it also made sense for me to get this basket of offcuts out of here. But the live deck has been working great. And I did create a problem, however. When we moved this table back here, I went ahead and widened it up. You just loosen these bolts and slide these chain infeeds apart from each other. Well, I got it too far out, and now my this is solid. It's spun inside of the of the other side, and these have gotten a little out of sync, so I need to get that fixed. I either just need to narrow my table again or just get them straightened up and get a welder to just weld around that. That's kind of annoying, but that was my fault. Lastly, because this table got moved around, you want to keep the center point of your rollers in line with the center point of the infeed, and I've ran into it a couple times, maybe with the tractor, and that's made my table a little bit off center, so I just need to pull it back when I'm doing all this other adjusting. That is my task today. The weather, we had a big rainstorm last night, and it's cooled off a little. It's still not cool, but the humidity is just so thick, man, it's even hard to breathe. So I'm just tasking today. I'm going to get these logs taken to the woodshed. I'm going to clean up a little bit around here and get this table adjusted. Later this evening, I will load it up and we'll produce in the morning. Here we go. Not very precision, but I'm able to get it in here. And when I used to do this before these IBC totes, I would bend down, chuck all these into the back of my truck, and then back the truck up here. And these IBC totes really work. I can see how these can be a huge saver of labor, and I am all for that. We had our very first Ohio Wood Burners meet and greet. It was last Saturday in Boardman, Ohio, and I must say, what a great turnout that we had. We had around 45 people. There were people from multiple states, a lot of people from Ohio, but even the people from Ohio, you know, had traveled long distances to get there. While I was flattered by the response, I was telling people too, and I was serious, I felt real guilty because, you know, people took time out of their lives to come hang out with me for just a short amount of time on a Saturday afternoon. But it really looked like we all enjoyed ourselves, and I think people made some new friends too. I saw a lot of people shooting the breeze and getting to know about people. These rounds, guys, this is gum, and you know, gum is like elm, not as bad, but it's just, it smells awful. You know what this stuff smells like? Because while it sat here in this basket while I was making wood, you know, even like this sat here for a few days. You ever step on a ladybug? That's what this stuff smells like. It smells awful. I don't like this firewood. The other thing about gum is it feels like a nice heavy wood, but when you split it and it sits out and dries, it turns really light, like balsa wood. Here's, this is gum. This is before I figured out what kind of wood it was. This went through the perfect split, and it went through it real nice. But I'm just not going to sell this. It might get into one of the orders for a restaurant, and it's better just to go into my woodshed. I do want to give special mention to Larry and Robin Hoddle, who came all the way up from Virginia to hang out, and I also invited them to come back here, and I showed them around the wood yard. So they have their own YouTube channel, and I will put a link in the description for you guys. Check out their channel and tell them that Joe sent you. They are a retired couple. They do a lot of traveling, but they still do firewood, and they have a roadside stand, and they were really nice. But then again, everyone I met was nice, and I think that's one of the joys of the firewood community on YouTube. I wonder if other type of channels, you know, that are, maybe they do finance or real estate or auto mechanics, can say the same thing, you know, that you can have a large group of strangers all come and meet, and they're all just like family. Here's a long piece. I probably should have cut this one in half, but that'll still go in the furnace, believe it or not, one way or the other. I was able to pick up more of these baskets, and I need to get them cut up and put into production, and I can start making a rotation. I would think too, if I just get enough of these, I could probably just, if I get this mess cleaned up over here, when these get full, I could just fork them down here and just let them sit, you know. And then when they're empty in the winter time, I can fork them out and bring some more in. Everything sounds like a great plan until you put it into action though, and then you forget that the ground is all muddy and mush, And unless the ground's frozen, I don't think I would be able to fork one of these full baskets over here. This thing would sink all the way up to the axles. I'm still smelling that gum firewood. It smells like a smashed ladybug. Doesn't smell nice. Tote emptied. I'm going to fork it back to where we were, and then we're going to get that table moved around. Here we go. I did forget, there is one other thing. I need to take this, and I have a place that I'm going to be using this for mulch. So I'm just going to take this down to where I'm going to dump it and bring the empty one back later. I'll spare you the drama of me mulching something. I'm gonna pick the platform up to get me some extra space to get the tractor in here. I'm going to fork up this side here and try to pull it this way a little bit. It doesn't have to move a lot, just a little. So let's take a quick look here, guys. I still think the front has to go closer to the machine. We are in line, we're like dead center, but I think the table is still turned a little cockeyed, so I need to move the front this way and the back this way. Just has to have a little bit of a twist to it. I'm looking at this still. I still think the table has to come this way even more. So I'm going to pick it up and try to scoot it towards the machine. Now, I think we're talking, guys. I was able to, so here's the seam between two timbers, and it was sitting a little bit lower. I got it closer to the machine. It's sitting up high. And take a look at the roller is up higher now than the infeed, and that's the way you want it, so that the log isn't hitting the end of that infeed when it's being fed. So I think we're in good shape now. Let's check the alignment. And it looks dead center now, guys. Notice how higher the hourglass roller is of the infeed. It might be a little bit, I don't know if it can be too high or not. But what I'm willing to do is try it like this and see if I'm feeding logs better than what I was. What was happening, my roller was sitting almost parallel with the infeed, and the logs would come in and bang into this. And the machine weighs more than the table. Is shifting the table this way, and I noticed my table kept getting farther and farther away, and then it also turned it a little cockeyed. I'm willing to give it a try with it sitting this much higher than the infeed, and we'll see how it works. If I don't like it, I'll just lower it down a little bit. Guys, what I forgot, we had set this front leg on the paver. It just seemed to balance it better, so I put it back on. I've also noticed from this side we are still cockeyed, so I'm going to pick the table up from the back and try to just scoot the back this way and hopefully get these lined up, because it's trying to shoot the log towards me right now and I want it to go straight down the infeed. That's just a weird angle. Whenever I pick it up, it wants to turn it even more. So I'm going to try something different. If it doesn't work, we'll keep trying. I like where it is right now. I was going to do this high precision maneuver, and while I was getting everything in position, I actually ran into the live deck with my fork and it bumped it right where it was supposed to go. I love it when a plan comes together. And I am happy with the results, guys. That was starting to worry me. I've noticed that I kind of like look at stuff, you know, and there's just something wrong, and that was on my list. I wanted to get this table straightened out, and I didn't like how it was sitting down into that seam. So that is fixed. It's level, it's square. I'm curious to see how this table works with it being that much closer to the infeed. The one thing I haven't done is empty the sawdust bin. I don't need to. It can go another week before I'll take care of that. I hear you guys talking, I need to come up with a plan for all of the waste for those fines that I had thrown out and then the sawdust. I think there's a market out there, but you know what? I'm chasing my tail still. And I only got so much bandwidth that I can deal with. So that's going to have to come later. I've been putting my trailer under here and catching all of the larger stuff, and I have been fishing out some pretty nice looking candidates for kindling. And I promised you that I'll be getting a kindling video started up here, and I'll show you how I do kindling and try to sell it for a premium price. And that is going to be it from the wood yard today. I want to thank everyone who was able to come to the meet and greet. It was a lot of fun. And I want to thank everyone who tuned in to the live stream and was able to check in there. That was a blast. And I am very serious. I could not have been in this position if not for you guys. You guys are the heart and soul of this channel, and I appreciate every single one of you. What we're planning to do here, we're going to be going on a vacation, so there might be some interruption to our Wednesday, Sundays, but just stay tuned. I'll keep everyone up to date, and we'll be back in full force once this heat is gone and once this vacation is over, guys. I hope everyone has a great day.